Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and this evening I have a handful of different things to talk about for, well, Warlock that have happened over the past 48 or so hours, or I guess we're supposed to happen over the past 48 or so hours. So, I believe it was Monday afternoon, Blizzard announced a handful of buffs coming to Demonology, to Destro, and a couple changes to Aff. We had a video on that come out a couple days ago. Tuesday, they're supposed to be coming out on Tuesday for pre-patch, actual retail servers, and we assumed they'd be hitting beta on the same day or whenever the build came out. Tuesday hit. None of the buffs were actually in for any spec for Warlock. I believe Shadow Priest also didn't get any buffs, or they were late. They came in Tuesday night, I believe, for Demonology. We also got a beta build Tuesday night, which was, yeah, I guess like at this point, 36-ish hours ago, with a couple changes in, a couple of the buffs, but the majority of them did not make it in. One or two did, but not all, which is very awkward. I'm assuming they're going to be in at some point this week due to ray testing being on Friday, but it's currently Thursday morning at 4. Well, it's 4 a.m. Thursday morning, and they're not in yet either. So, talk about that. Also, one large stealth nerf to Affliction with Malefic Afflictions hit retail pre-patch last night, I guess. It might be a bug. I'm not sure, but if it is functioning the way it's intended to work, if it's functioning in the way they intend, it's a severe nerf to Affliction single target, which is already pretty bad. So a couple things tonight, some bug fixes to hit beta, to Demonology, Felstorm's doing well. So we'll look at all that tonight, sort of a grab bag kind of video. So a couple things before we get too far in the video. Number one, any weak auras, add-ons, and profiles you see here on my screen are all available for free to you guys. If you want, come by my Twitch, put !WA in chat, or hop in the Discord. Link down below and do the same, and the Wago and Pastebin are all there for you guys. Number two, I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys for all the support on Patreon 10,000 times. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you guys are interested in supporting on Patreon or looking to do so, there should be a link up here as well as down below. With that being said, let's get into the video, starting off with, I guess, just the buffs and what made it to retail and beta and what didn't. All right, so when it comes to the buffs that were announced on Monday, these buffs, from what I understand, have all hit retail. The Warlock buffs did not go in with the Tuesday reset. They went in like Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, I'm pretty sure. But from what I understand, they are all in. Now, it's hard to track implosion damage increase, or bioscourge increase, or hand of Gul'dan increase, or guillotine's damage increase, or the same for Vile Fiend, the same for Grimoire Felguard. But you can see Anilian training is now 20%. You can also see a bit of a weird, well, you can see Imp Gang boss is also 50 and 30, which is huge, by the way. We'll look at that in a minute here. You can't see Pit Lord buff, which is right here, but I'm assuming it's in. I'm assuming the math is right. The weird thing is that, so Guillotine's Fell Explosion radius is now 8 yards. Was 4 yards. It is not. I'm choking here. Give me a second. It's 4 in the morning. I'm not gonna edit that out. Sorry. Bioscourge Bombers is an 8-yard radius. I have the talent just to show you here. So this is Bombers. This is Guillotine. Bombers, Guillotine. Bombers, Guillotine. Bombers, Guillotine. So I've been told by THD, I think he tested it out, that Guillotine's range is actually in game. Like, it's larger than it appears with the reticle. I'm not 100% that's the case or not. I haven't tried it myself. I believe him. It's fine. But I believe the Guillotine damage amp is also in. It looks to be an actual raw damage. Now, the cool thing about this, we're not playing this build, is that you can sort of see, if you're watching the videos in the past about like how much damage Pit Lord did when it first was, you know, the talent was changed and everything, you can see Pit Lord, if we get even decent RNG, it actually does a good bit of damage with like even like a semi-decent, I guess, average crit chance on all the above in your rotation. So let me make a build really quickly here. Felstorm there, so we go Portal, Nerzuls into Gul'dan's, Tyrant, and we have Imp Gang boss. Now, one thing to look at here is going to be Pit Lord damage on pull. Other thing is going to be Imp Gang boss damage. Or I guess they don't separate Imp Gang boss damage from like your imps. They're all Fel Firebolts. But you'll see in the damage breakdown, Fel Firebolt is actually a considerable amount of damage for us now. Last time I tested this, it was our #1 source of damage. So let me swap the Wilfred's here. Demonology. We're playing Demo Conduits. Sounds good. Let's do it to it. I'll make my keybinds here as well. So we'll look at Pit Lord damage here, and then we'll also look at Wild Imp damage. And yeah. Oh, let me get my pet out here as well. Summon Fel Lord. Felguard. It's too late, guys. I'm sorry. All right, so we'll play Strength too. That's fine. Spoilers ahead. Felstorm is fixed on beta. Damage is real. We'll get to that in a minute. All right, so we're gonna open up here. We have Portal up. I mean, it's good. Pet should attack. We got the Bolt Bug. That's sick. Cool. So we go Portal, Grimoire, Vile Fiend. We can go Dogs, Shadow Bolt, Hand of Gul'dan, Shadow Bolt, Hand of Gul'dan. We don't get shards from casting Tyrant, by the way. So we cast an extra spell there. Tyrant. The Pit Lord should be out now. We can Demonic Strength. We start going. His damage. He's pretty juiced up. You can hear him grunting. He does a lot of damage in your actual opener with Portal. Now, it is a 3-minute cooldown. He barely even crit here, too. I've seen a lot higher than that. It's a 3-minute cooldown, so... Well, it seems pretty strong and pretty cool and OP. We have to wait literally another 3 minutes for it to come back around. So his damage being 15% will probably be somewhere around like 4.5, I believe, before we go second Portal. But the cool thing is that Imp Gang boss is actually really strong. And... We're not going to get into it in this video, but there is some weird tech behind an Imp Gang boss with Implosion. You can implode imps. And so basically, whenever you implode imp to Imp Gang boss, when imploded, an Imp Gang boss will summon a wild imp. It seems like any effect that has a chance of summoning a wild imp, like Imp Gang boss, like Inner Demons, has a chance of that wild imp being another Imp Gang boss. So you can implode Imp Gang bosses, and they will summon, potentially, more Imp Gang bosses. So... there is more math needs to be run on that, all the above. We'll see where that goes. I didn't get any shards, I forgot. We'll see where that goes, but yeah, Imp Gang boss and the actual imp damage that they do seems pretty solid. It's sitting at literally 9.8% of my damage right now. It's gonna keep climbing too. Like, Dreadstalkers are a good bit as well, but look at Fel Firebolts. Like, it was not this close previously in single target. Your dogs, yeah, they were nerfed a bit, but even with the nerf, like, a week ago or so, they still, like, Fel Firebolt still wasn't this strong, but it's Imp Gang boss. I'll cast dogs here, they'll probably overtake it for a second or two. They're close, but like, Imp Gang boss is pulling ahead, just pulls further and further ahead. And the longer you go, without, like, just casting more time, well, I guess until another portal comes up, the longer you go, the more the imps pull ahead, whether you get a portal or not, because they're, like, your biggest, most consistent source of damage. I can actually Tyrant again here. Let's set up a big one. Vile Fiend, I'm gonna be lazy and just go dogs. I'm not casting a bolt. We got a shard refund. Get that. Get his refunds. I love it. Trinket, Tyrant, Soul Rot, Demonic Strength, and watch our damage here. Like, yeah, I mean, Tyrant gains some value. It's still terrible at 7%. Your dogs gain some value, but your imps are still pulling ahead. 12, 12.1, 12.2 cast dogs, 12.4, 12.3, 12.4. Like, they're good. Imp Gang boss cranks. It shifted a lot, like a good bit of your damage from like other effects to like just empowering Fel Firebolt and your imps even more. It's cool. And this is without any kind of like weird implosion tech or technology or whatever. Who knows where it's going to go. We're going to see. Where's the Pit Lord at? He's at 5%. We would have had Portal in about 30-ish here. So Pit Lord's a little better. Not incredible. RNG is RNG. It's a bit easier to empower when we're on beta and we have like full Soulbound Tyrant shards with that. But Pit Lord's not bad. Imp Gang boss is actually making a pretty big difference. And yeah, I will say though, the most damage overall in single target, and even in Mythic Plus, from what I've seen, with like Implosion Legendary, playing Tyrant, playing Reign of Tyranny, okay, Implosion Legendary being, you know, the haste one, playing Grim Inquisitors essentially, playing Reign of Tyranny or Wilfrid's is still not very good. Aff and Deshros though better. These buffs, I feel personally, I mean, I don't think Blizzard's tuning around pre-patch. These buffs were needed in the actual like Dragonflight beta when the game launches, and they're a nice little boost in pre-patch. They're cool to see, but you can definitely see them, you know, or we'll see them more whenever they hit beta. So with that being said, let's take a look at beta damage really quick here too. All right, so we are now on beta. These changes that came into retail like a day and a half ago or so, like I said, some of them made it to beta and some didn't. We can't see Implosion or Bombers or Hand of Gul'dan. The actual Fel Explosion range is the same as it is like on retail with like the... It's not... The visual smaller than what it currently is, from what I understand. Can't see Vile Fiend damage, can't see Grimoire. You can see Anilian Training though. You can see Imp Gang boss. So keep in mind, on retail, it's 20 and 50. And you know, the respective amount that Imp Gang boss is. On beta though, Anilian Training, 20. Imp Gang boss, Not right. So I don't know, out of like Grimoire and Vilefiend to hand golden damage and bombers and whatever else they buffed, guillotine and implosion. I don't know. Oh, and tyrant too, and pit lord. I don't know what actually made it to beta and what didn't, because I don't remember exactly what like damage profiles looked like before. And even if I did, like, it's hard to tell with variants and things. So I'm assuming most of these aren't in game. The cool thing though on beta is that Felstorm has finally been fixed. Felstorm has been bugged since day one of alpha. It is now working, and it is juiced up. So previously there were bugs with Fel and Seal overriding basically any kind of like Felstorm damage amp. I believe in Torn Armaments was bugged for a while too. So it wasn't doing the 400% damage amp. It was bugged. Your 2-piece was bugged, which was giving 20% more Felstorm damage. They are no longer bugged. The 4-piece is fixed too. Demo is mostly functioning. Even Kazak's Final Curse is fixed, but it's not very good. So let's take a look at the opener here very briefly, and you can see just how strong Felstorm is, because you have your 2-piece. Like, you have 20% damage jump on Felstorm here, right? 20% there, 10% here, 20% here. Sorry, 20 here, 10 here, 20 here, 20 on your 2-piece, and a 400 here on Demonic Strength, plus like more damage amps and Felsunder if you have it up, Tyrant amps, whatever, what have you. It does a lot of damage. I'm gonna say right now, I don't think it's too OP or anything. I haven't tested it a whole lot. Smithy Plus is closed for most of the week. I don't think it's too OP, but Blizzard did indeed buff this week. I would assume the buff was more to like compensate for the dog nerfs that came in, which also hit. So they nerfed Fel and Steel, I believe, from 20 to 10, which also hit Felstorm. I assume that was more just the nerf Dreadbite, and just like they buffed Alien Training to like, you know, compensate for that. But we'll see. So we're gonna play Portal build here, Pit Lord, and yeah, we're just going to go. So let's reset this. Let's go in. Probably get a bug. Get the bug. Let's see. We did not. Sick. There we go. All right, Portal. Grimoire. My Vilefiend's not on my bars. It's fine. Doesn't really even matter. Hand the Gul'dan, Shadow Bolt, Hand the Gul'dan. We'll do one more. Shadow Bolt, Hand the Gul'dan, Trinket, Tyrant. We can go maybe double hand. Hand. Watch the Felstorm damage. Demonic Strength. Watch the Felstorm. Look at it. The Pit Lord's coming up too. Look at the Felstorm damage, dude. 20, like, just 252k from Felstorm, dude. That's actually insane, man. It's actually wild. When you hit it, your damage just spikes, man. It feels good. Like, this has been one of my main concerns with testing for like the course of alpha and beta, is we haven't had a working Felstorm, and we have a lot of damage amps that stack Felstorm damage. Right now, it might seem like a lot of damage. Keep in mind though, like, baseline Felstorms are cast, you know, more frequently than 1 minute with Demonic Strength, but Demonic Strength is a 1 minute cooldown. So if you're playing Wilfrid's, it'll line up with basically every Tyrant. If you're playing Reign of Tyranny, you've got it like every minute and a half or so. It's a large portion of your damage though. Like, Pit Lord's up there too, don't get me wrong. This is a fine Pit Lord, but Felstorm does a considerable amount in single target, even in AoE. I mean, obviously you expect it to crush. It does. It's a 1 minute cooldown, but it does indeed crush. We'll Tyrant again here, why not? We'll hit this. Felstorm. There it goes. There it goes again, man. Felstorm's wild. It does a good portion of your damage. It applies Felsunder. The effect's just strong. And with so many stacking damage amps from just Anilian Training, Fel and Steel, and Torn Armaments, Felsunder, your 2-piece giving you 20% of an increase to Felstorm, and baseline Demonic Strength being a 400% damage increase. I mean, Demo's damage profile is solid. It shifted a bit more to, like, I mean, being based around Felstorm and single target, but I mean, you still got Tyrant damage, which I don't believe the 25% amps hit from the bug fixes. I don't think the Vilefiend amps hit. I don't think Anthus really hit. I'm not sure. Hard to tell. But Demo's shaping up on beta to be a pretty solid feeling spec overall. I'm not a huge fan of Nether Portal when it comes to like single target fights. It's a fun talent. I like playing with it, but like in a progression setting, it's hard to find 15 plus 5 seconds, like 20 seconds to stand still and optimally cast a rotation without moving. If you screw it up or mess it up at all, you're hurting your Tyrant, you're hurting your Portal, you're hurting your Pit Lord. It's tough. I've tested both the single target build with like just the pets, like going down to like here, not taking Portal, like giving just like full pet empowerment here. It seems to be a few thousand DPS behind another Portal. And I believe that's also before the buffs to Gul'dan's Ambition, to Grimoire, to Vilefiend and all that. But at the same time, in-game boss is not into. So Later on this week, I'll have a video coming out looking at like Aff single target, Dash Throw Demo single target on beta, going from there. But I really, really want to wait for these changes to hit in beta for raid testing on Friday, because Demo looks like a pretty solid spec. There's some specs that are better than it for sure, but the damage profile is finally shaping up with fixed Felstorm and Demonic Strength. With that being said, let's jump back to retail and look at, well, retail for now. Look at the Malefic Affliction changes and see what could be in store for us in a few days with bug fixes on beta and what we're having to deal with now currently on retail. So, the Affliction change slash nerf slash hopefully a bug or oversight that came in today. Malefic Afflictions is now applied to the caster rather than an enemy target for easier tracking. So, there was a bug. There still is technically on beta, for all of alpha and current beta, that if you had 2 or more Affliction Warlocks in the same party or raid that were both playing Malefic Affliction, the talent, which is this right here, only one would get the effect, and that was the one that raptured first. The other ones would not get the effect. I don't know if it applied the buff or not, like if it actually applied Malefic Afflictions, but you would not get the unstable Affliction damage increase, which is pretty big, because UA is like 20% of your damage, I think, somewhere around there. It's a pretty big damage increase. So they moved the actual buff to the player now. So I can show you that here. Let's just say we do this. UA, just Rapture, right? So instead of being on the mob here, it's on me. There's 1 stack. Here's 2. And here's 3. And the cool thing about this is, like, if I can gen a shard here, it's Soul Tap, is that when you hit 3 stacks, you can Rapture, which applies Dread Touch to the mob, which increases damage taken from dots by 20, or I think 20%, yeah? But watch my refresh here. Refresh this. Stack's gone. Rewind the video. Look at it again. So what happens is when you have the buff on yourself, Malefic Afflictions has worked in a way where if you're rolling Unstable Affliction on a target, you have stacks on the target and you refresh the UA, it would maintain the stacks. It doesn't do it anymore. If you refresh UA on the target that has UA on it, it instead just removes all the Malefic Affliction stacks from you, the player. Now, this could very well be a bug or an oversight. If it is, all is probably well in the world. It's probably a better effect to have on you versus the actual mob anyways. It's fine either way, but if it is intended, this is a huge nerf to this part of the tree. You probably end up playing Creeping Death. You probably don't even play Malefic Afflictions. You certainly don't play Dread Touch, because the rotation now is you end up like opening up, casting your dots, PS, Soul Rot, Dark Lair. You Rapture 3 times for 3 stacks of this, and then you maintain UA on 1 mob for the entire fight, unless you're moving it around, right? So you have permanent 3 stack of MA, and you can just then take advantage of Dread Touch. Dread Touch says if Malefic Affliction has 3 stacks, the target instead takes 20% additional damage from your dots whenever you Rapture, essentially. So you build the 3 stacks of MA on pull, and as long as you didn't like have the UA drop or move it somewhere, you'd maintain those 3 stacks for the entire fight. You can't do that anymore. If this is the actual case. You can't. So like the rotation goes from being, okay, try and Rapture once every 7 seconds or so, to maintain Dread Touch while playing around PS Soul Rot windows, to literally something like this. So it's not the optimal build to play. We're just playing it. It's fine. We open up with a UA, Agony, Corruption, Siphon. We can drain to 3 stacks of Shadow's Embrace. 1, 2, 3. We'd PS, we'd Soul Rot, we'd Trinket, Dark Lair. So 1 stack, 2 stack, 3 stack. We Rapture again for Dread Touch. There it is. You probably want to Rapture a little more because you have dots up for more damage. It's fine, right? The thing here is like my UA is falling in 7 seconds. Catch Dread Touch here, try and refresh UA. There goes the buff. So what do you do now? You can Rapture, I guess, to get 3 stacks back, but like, okay, now I'm at 0 shards. Like, I mean, yeah, you have Soul Tap, but I mean, you can't, Soul Tap is not, you can't depend on Soul Tap in combat. And I got pretty lucky with shard refunds and just shard in there too. So I can get Dread Touch up here, try and UA again, the buff's essentially gone. What do I do now? Rapture once, Rapture twice. I want to have Dread Touch up in 15 seconds for Soul Rot. I can barely get there. I can get it up now pretty much, but like I have no shards in my Rapture window. So like, if you get lucky with like pandemic invocation refunds or like just good shard gen or whatever, it's sort of possible to like get a Dread Touch effect per Rapture window, but you can't maintain it permanently. It's going to be a substantial loss in overall Dread Touch uptime for Affliction, and having not having this permanent 30% damage amp to UA, having to restack it just greatly devalues his talent. It devalues this a crazy amount. It devalues Dread Touch a crazy amount, and it probably makes you just play Haunt Row this row and probably just this point here if it's true. So hopefully it's a bug or an oversight, but if this change is intended, it's way too late for this change. But if it is intended, then Affliction just got a lot worse, and it's already the worst spec, unfortunately. So hopefully we get some clarification soon. I'm hoping it's a bug. I'm thinking it's a bug or an oversight, because a change like this late is not typically what you end up seeing. So yeah, that should about wrap it up. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully the video answered any questions you might have had about the buffs that came in, half came in, didn't come in. The bug fixes the demo on beta, which is solid. And I guess the Malefic Affliction changes, which hopefully is an oversight. I'm assuming that it is. I really think that's just, if they're making this change this late into beta, a change like that to Malefic Afflictions changes basically every build of Affliction, like in single target. That row is probably just not even playable anymore, due to just how big the rotational changes are, and like the actual uptime on Dread Touch is just so much worse with this change. So I'm assuming the change was made. It said in the blue post again, you know, it was made to make, I guess, buff tracking easier. What I'm guessing is they couldn't figure out a way to like separate the Malefic Afflictions bug with 2 Afflocks in the raid, so they made it a player bound buff, but forgot to, you know, add in that clause of not having Malefic Affliction drop if you refresh your UA. So we'll know more soon, hopefully. There's raid testing on Friday, which I'm hoping bugs are fixed for, all of that. And yeah, I guess we'll go from there. I'll be streaming at my channel if you want to swing by. It is Mythic Primal Council and Kurog Grim Totem, which are both good Warlock fights, actually. Good Destro Demo, or good Demo Aff fight on Primal Council. Good Destro fight on Kurog. So we should have a grab bag of specs. And, you know, a lot of classes have been nerfed too. So we will see where it goes. Currently, Demo and Destro are ahead of Aff by a good bit. I'd say in probably basically every setting. Maybe barring Mythic Plus, but it seems like they're focusing more on tuning specs that are undertuned and just bringing everybody in line. Like Windwalker Enhanced, where up here, Lock is down here with other classes. They're sort of like, they're finding that equilibrium. So hopefully by Friday, we know more. So all that being said, once again, any weak ORS add-ons or profiles you saw in the video, link down below to my Twitch and Discord. Hop in there or just put !WA in Twitch chat, and the Wago will come up. They're all indeed available to you guys free in there if you want. And yeah, I want to give one huge final shout out to my patrons. Once again, thank you guys for all support on Patreon. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, it should be a link up here as well as down below in the video description. All that being said, if you like the video, smash the like and sub buttons. It helps out a ton. And yeah, we're less than a month away from Dragonflight's launch, and things are amping. It's already the 5th, actually. No, it's the 3rd. Florida. I don't know. Things are amping up. I'm excited. Lot coming up, but good things we can talk about again. We can talk about hopefully soon here. So all that being said, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.